You want to begin your health journey and start healing your gut, but you have no idea where to start. There's so much information out there. It can be really conflicting and overwhelming, and you just want some basic step-by-steps. What do I do today to start healing my digestion, which will ultimately heal my skin and my mental health and give me more energy and all the amazing benefits of the gut healing process. So I'm here to just give you the quick start guide. We'll cut through all the bullshit and just go straight to the point, because that is what I wanted when I was in the same position. Number one, you need to eliminate the gut irritants. And this is the hardest part for sure. But any of these foods or drinks that are harming your gut microbiota are completely stopping you from moving forward. Your gut is made up of this complex ecosystem of beneficial bacteria and fungi and all sorts of microorganisms that make it possible for you to digest your food, create hormones, have energy, etc. And when those organisms are being compromised by what you're eating, you cannot properly function, and your gut is ultimately going backwards instead of forward. So number one, let's eliminate the gut irritants. These include fried foods, no more. Refined sugar, try to reduce it. It's hard to completely eliminate. Alcohol, try to reduce it. You don't have to go full on sober if you don't want to, but alcohol is a major contributor to gut dysbiosis, which is when the bad guy bacteria and fungi are overtaking your microbiome and causing all sorts of issues with your digestion and your going to the bathroom and your energy levels and your stomach hurting and bloating, etc. So no more alcohol, no more fried food, reduce the refined sugar, ditch the packaged snacks. You just really have to start reaching for more either holistic, raw, pure ingredient bars, like Go Macro bars are one of my favorite if you need like a packaged snack, or a packaged jerky bar like the Epic bars. But other than that, when you're hungry, you either have to reach for making a high protein meal or grabbing some fruit as a snack. The chips and the cookies and all of those like candy bars and all that junk is totally destroying your gut. Also, eliminating gluten. This one's controversial because not everyone has celiac disease, but overall gluten is inflammatory for pretty much everyone in modern day America because of the way our wheat is grown. I have heard a lot of people talk about traveling through Europe and they could eat gluten and dairy and be totally fine because the EU has a lot more strict regulations on the herbicides and pesticides that can be used in grain production. But here in the United States, our wheat is so contaminated with glyphosate, also known as Roundup, which completely destroys your gut lining barrier and kills all those beneficial microorganisms, making it extremely difficult to digest your food, which again manifests in the form of all those other problems you may be facing. So if you just eliminate gluten, eliminate fried food, and drink less alcohol and eat less sugar, those four things right off the bat, boom, you are off to a running start on healing your gut. And trust me, do not skip the alcohol and sugar part. Those two, seriously, game changers. Game changers. And fried food, just ditch it. You don't need fried food. You don't need it. Just cook everything in olive oil or grass-fed organic butter or coconut oil, and you will get all the delicious fats you need without munching down on French fries and chips and all that stuff. Number two, you need to avoid medications that are going to harm your gut. Now, I'm not a doctor, full disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. Do whatever's best for you. But I'm going to tell you, these medications are scientifically proven to harm your gut lining and harm those microbes. So your gut lining is what kind of protects all the digestive organs and prevents toxins from accumulating out into your bloodstream. And so if you're eating a diet that has a high toxin load, and then you're also taking these medications, you are doing yourself a real disservice, and that is probably why your stomach is hurting all the time, your bowel movements aren't regular, you feel brain fog, because there's a gut-brain connection. It's called the gut-brain axis, and this is a major source of hormones and nerve signals and communication between your digestion and your brain. So when your brain feels foggy after you eat like a really harmful meal or you take antibiotics, that is why, because those organisms in your gut are directly controlling your mind. So this is also linked to things like depression and anxiety, etc. There's so much research out there, but the basic is avoid NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Basically aspirin and ibuprofen. I know it's so normal for people to just like, oh, I have a headache, let me pop an ibuprofen. But that is really, really harming your gut. And if you can eliminate those, boom, you're already in better shape. Next up, antibiotics. Now, of course, there's extenuating circumstances. Things happen and you have to take antibiotics if you choose to. Do you, whatever your doctor says. But if you can avoid antibiotics, please avoid them. Antibiotics are drastically overprescribed when a lot of times our immune systems are actually able to fight things off on our own. So if you just have like a little cough or a little strep throat or something, consider an herbal remedy, consider researching some herbal antibiotics, because the more you can reduce the use of antibiotics in your life, the more your gut can repopulate. Antibiotic means anti-life. It is killing the beneficial microorganisms, and there's all sorts of research out there. After you take an antibiotic, your immune system is actually more susceptible to all sorts of sicknesses because your gut and your immune system are totally aligned, and your digestion is severely compromised because you just killed all the good guys. And guess who comes back way more quickly than the good guy bacteria? It's the bad guy. So you take an antibiotic, you wipe out everybody. It's like a nuclear bomb to your gut. And then all the bad guys start coming back and colonizing. And then you feel like trash and your stomach is like in knots and you can't digest things well. So avoid antibiotics, avoid ibuprofen, avoid aspirin. Okay, next up, you're going to start healing the gut lining. So we removed the irritants and now you want to start re-inoculating with all the good stuff. Bone broth is pure gold for gut healing. Bone broth is rich in collagen, in minerals, and it's easy to digest. It's smooth. Some people drink it like a tea. It can actually be really good savory, or you can incorporate it into your meals. I like to cook rice with bone broth when I'm making rice, because then you're just getting the added protein and the collagen and those soothing things that help the beneficial microbes recolonize your gut. Cold water fish, salmon is another huge one to add back in high amounts when you are first starting your gut healing journey. And then of course you get the probiotic rich foods. So you don't have to buy a bunch of expensive probiotics and supplements to heal your gut. You can actually get probiotics and prebiotics from food. So first off, the difference between prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are fiber, and fiber is food for the microbes. So it's called prebiotic, like before life, because it's feeding the microbes so that the microbes can extract the nutrients from your food and feed you. So prebiotic foods are like carrots, sweet potatoes, bananas, artichokes, garlic, onion. Pretty much any fruit or vegetable is going to have a good amount of fiber in it. Just incorporate as many as you possibly can. By the way, when we talked about avoiding sugar, avoid the refined sugar. Supplement your sweet tooth with as much fruit as you want, because fruit is amazing for you. Hopefully organic fruit, because some fruits like strawberries are really contaminated with the pesticides, so I always get organic strawberries. But fruit is nature's natural sugar in a package with fiber. So it's prebiotic, and it's not going to spike your insulin the way that refined sugar does. It's not going to harm your gut. Fruit is amazing for your gut. So supplement your sweet tooth with that. And for the probiotics, again, you don't need an expensive probiotic pill. You can eat sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt. These are all fermented foods. And fermented, again, just means it's got the beneficial microbes. You're re-inoculating your gut every time you eat those foods. I put a dollop of sauerkraut, dollop of kimchi on like every meal. I love Greek yogurt. It's high in protein and collagen. I only get organic grass-fed, of course. And the beneficial bacillus bacteria in the yogurt is excellent for your gut. It's easy to digest. Okay, so we've removed the gut irritants. We got no more fried food, no more alcohol, or reducing the alcohol, no more gluten, reducing refined sugar. We're not taking aspirin. We're not taking ibuprofen. We're avoiding antibiotics at all costs whenever possible, unless you absolutely have to take it. And then you're starting to heal the gut lining with bone broth and cold water salmon. Those two. You can also take a collagen supplement. And if you're vegetarian, vegan, you can look into some seaweed and kelp based collagen supplements. And then you're adding in the probiotics: sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, kefir, fermented. Kombucha is also good. I love kombucha, but you shouldn't rely on it as the only thing to re-inoculate your microbiome because it's still only a select amount of microorganisms. And the key is diversity. We want to eat a diversity of fruits and vegetables, a diversity of proteins, because the more food you bring in, the more diverse organisms are going to grow in your gut. And diversity is resilience in the context of microorganisms and just ecology in general. You don't want all of one thing. Otherwise, the amount of nutrients you'll be able to extract is limited, and your body is not going to be able to function in its ultimate thriving state, which is what we want. Number 5 is to add in some digestive boosters, okay? There's a few options here. My favorite is digestive bitters. I know bitter has a negative connotation in our world, but digestive bitters are a real game changer. Anything like dandelion leaf, dandelion root are my top picks if you want to get a tea or you want to get a digestive bitter spray. Artichoke leaf is also incredibly bitter. You can eat bitter foods like radicchio. And then of course there are digestive, aperitif, bitter, I'm saying those wrong, but bitter alcoholic drinks. So that's a toss up because the herbs are extracted in the alcohol, but you're still drinking alcohol. So do your own research on that. I do really love Amaro Montenegro. If I eat like a big meal out to eat, I always get Amaro because it's a digestive bitter, and that was used traditionally a lot in Europe as like a prerequisite or an end to a meal. But you can also buy Swedish bitters in the store. Regardless, bitter things are going to boost your bile production, which is the will boost your saliva in your mouth first, and then it's going to improve the bile production in your stomach, which is going to help break down your food faster, make your digestion smoother, and ultimately make you feel better. Can also help with bloating, which is one of my favorite things to take bitters for. Hydrochloric acid, HCl, is another supplement you can buy, and it's fairly cheap. It helps improve your stomach acid. A lot of people actually have low stomach acid, and your stomach is supposed to be a very acidic area, which allows it to kill off any harmful pathogens in your food, and also help, again, keep things churning and moving through. Aloe vera gel is one more digestive boosting supplement that I really love. You can drink aloe juice in the morning. Of course, you want to buy the food grade aloe vera, not the, fake colored aloe vera for sunburns. Don't get that. Get the food grade aloe vera. And aloe is so soothing, just like bone broth. It's extremely beneficial for the gut lining and just restoring balance. And last but not least, we need to reduce our stress. Seriously, there's so much research on how stress alters the microbiome. Stress directly reduces your gut's function. And real quick, let me tell you why. Because when you are in a fight or flight mode, okay, the sympathetic nervous system, you are actually turning off digestion. Think about it. If you're running from a lion, your body is like, oh wait, let's eliminate these functions we don't need to do. We don't need to digest things. And that's why when you feel really nervous, you feel really upset, your stomach often hurts at the same time as you're feeling these intense stressful emotions, because your body is having a physical response to this stress in your mind that is making you feel like life or death, okay? When you shift into the sympathetic nervous system, also called the rest and digest nervous system, your digestion functions way more smoothly because you're in a peaceful, relaxed state. That's why it's natural to like eat a meal and then chill out for a bit, let it move through, and then get back to your day. If you are constantly running on high stress, you are not going to be able to heal your gut, period. The gut-mind connection is so strong. So anytime you can practice deep breathing, meditation, yoga, running, just a walk in nature, grounding your barefoot feet on the ground, that actually directly helps heal your gut as well. And mindful eating, whenever you are eating, if you can practice like putting your phone away, taking a few deep breaths, being grateful for your food, and eating slowly, thoroughly chewing your food for as long as possible, these things all make a massive difference on your journey to begin healing your gut. I hope this was helpful. Please post any comments or questions below, and I'd love to make more videos for you about gut health. I'm super passionate about it, and life is so much better whenever your gut feels good, you're digesting your food, you've got energy, your brain isn't foggy, and you don't have to worry so much about like, am I bloated? Does my stomach hurt? When's my next bowel movement? It's just, life becomes a lot better when you got a healed gut. Okay, happy gut, happy life. Have a beautiful day.